Hello, everyone. It is Wednesday, I tell you. How are you tonight? Welcome to Wednesday Night Live, I tell you. What is shaking and baking in your world tonight? What are you grateful for this Wednesday night? That's what I want to know. Tell me about your day and what you are grateful for. Am I broadcasting correctly here? Hey, Kitty, how are you? Good to have you with us tonight. Boom. Okay, now I got all my screens going. No yoga tonight. Catch me live. Catch me. Which will be better than I did with my ring light a couple minutes ago when it fell. So it'll be better than that, Kelly. Hey, but we'll try to yoga a little bit here for you. I don't know. That's about all I got for you. Hey, Krita, how are you? How things in Texas? No tornadoes. What the heck? Tornado watches? I haven't even heard about that, but I've been off the news. I've been disconnected. But I'm connecting with you. I've been disconnected from the news and the weather and everything else. But I am connected with you tonight on this hump day. Hump day, I tell you. We are there on hump day tonight. It is hump day as we work through this week. We are broadcasting tonight, so the internet is mostly back in my office here. So we are broadcasting tonight on both Facebook and YouTube, Any problems with Facebook, hop right on over to YouTube. The link is right there in the comments. The link is right there for you. Although looking at my internet speed scanner right now, I hope the internet holds up for us. I hope it does. It's been, like I told somebody the other day that was looking to change providers. I'm like, you're just changing problems. And the internet is one of those things that everybody always complains about. Nobody ever says, my internet service is so great and they provide such great customer service. Holy moly, Krita. An EF 45 minutes away, that's nuts. A few pauses in my broadcast. Well, I'll try to move more. I'll move some more for you, Kelly. I'm hoping for no pauses. Hey, Julie Jankowitz, great to have you here from Illinois. But we will try to keep it. Hey, Adele and Dazzle are here. Dazzle and the Pets of Resale. It is treat time. Treat time, I tell you. It is. It is great to have everybody here. I'm so excited to be here with you broadcasting live tonight. There's so much going on. It is really hard. I wish you could see how I have my desk spread out here for all the stuff that I would love to talk about. I mean, I'm going to talk about a lot of things tonight, but I wish I could hit on all of it. Hey, Rose, how are you? Great to have you here tonight. Live tonight on this Wednesday. Well, let's get going, people, because there's so much to talk about. And to get going, we have to open the Stay Positive book. Stay Positive. That is where we go. Let me get out the glasses. Went and got my glasses repaired today. That and getting Nanovex, her booster shot is our accomplishments for the day. Those are high on my accomplishment list. Tonight we're on page 58. Mental toughness is knowing that your identity is not defined by your performance or outcome. You are loved no matter what. Yes, you are. Hey, Barb in Pittsburgh. Great to have you here tonight. Great to have everybody here. Tonight. Well, let's get going. Here because there's a lot we're going to talk about here. Where do we start? Well, this is an important week in history. This week in history has a lot of big happenings on it. And so I thought I'd share some of them with you because some of them are like, whoa, that happened this week? The tax week, I guess, is a big week for things. This week, 35 years ago, this week, the city of New York banned smoking in restaurants that seat 35 or more. That was just in 1995 that ban went into effect, where restaurants with 35 seats or more could not smoke in those restaurants. The inventor of Scrabble was born this week in 1899. Alfred Mosher Butts was born in Poughkeepsie, New York this week. In 1955, Ray Kroc opened his first McDonald's in Des Plaines, Illinois. Another Illinois great, but it was actually the 9th McDonald's from the previous 8 having been opened by brothers Dick and Mac McDonald. Ray began the franchising of it and bought the brothers out. That was in 1955, and on this date on this week in 1902, James, the Golden Rule Store in Kemmerer, Wyoming. There you go, folks. There is that. Masks are back in the news this week. So we have to just briefly talk about that because the city of Philadelphia is reinstituting their mask mandate. So not the state of Pennsylvania, but the city of Philadelphia is reinstituting their mask mandate, and that has made a lot of national headlines. It is a crazy story and an interesting movie. So just be aware of it. The mask mandates are still out there. The CDC has also extended their travel mask mandate, but only by 2 weeks this time. Only till May 3rd, from April 18th when it was set to expire till May 3rd. So that will likely be gone for summer travel. So just be aware that is happening. Where retail gets the butt of a lot of things and how, retail is dead. And boring retail is dead, but retail is not dead. This year is actually store closures are down 65% year over year, but store openings are up 3%. So store closures, there's been 742 store closures announced this year and 1,910 store openings. So almost triple the amount of store openings to closings this year. So if retail is dead, why is everybody opening stores? Why is everybody in a rush to open stores if retail is dead? But that is just an interesting correlation there. Okay, the Restaurant Revitalization Fund. The Restaurant Revitalization Fund is actually gaining some traction. And we talk about it for a couple of reasons. One, 20% of all restaurants never reopen. 20% of all restaurants that closed early on in the pandemic have never reopened. And so Congress actually passed 2 bills. So the House passed a bill, the Restaurant Revitalization Fund, injecting another $40 billion into it. Okay. And they also added another $13 billion for hard hit industries. Okay. Basically, businesses like you that have been hard hit that would have access to this fund. And it would be run like the Restaurant Revitalization Fund. In the Senate, they are moving forward a similar bill, but different. Okay, so there is interest on Capitol Hill. I guess the people on Capitol Hill want to be able to show their faces in a restaurant again. So there is interest in making these businesses, keeping businesses around that have been hard hit. Whether this goes all the way or not, it's really too early to tell. The Senate program is a little different. It includes money for transportation, for bus companies, and different things that were hurt as part of it. I don't know where this is going, but it is. I am very glad they're at least talking about it. That both chambers are talking about it, both sides of the aisle. If they can get something done, Biden will sign it. I don't know what they'll get done, but I am confident that the president would sign it if they got something done. And the way it is shaking out right now, it is likely that businesses, retailers, gyms, there's been a lot of push by different industry groups for specific carve-outs. The restaurant people want their carve-out. The gym people want their carve-out. The theater groups want their carve-out. At Congress, they're looking at all of them as one. And so they're talking about, that you have to have a big loss in 2020 versus 2019, or 2021 versus 2019. But the exact figures and how this program will work are not set, but they want it to work more like the Restaurant Revitalization Fund, which was very simple. The Restaurant Revitalization Fund actually was designed around the idea of what were your sales in 2020, what were your sales in 2019, and we'll send you the difference, is the short version of how that worked. There were a little bit more complexities to it, but that was the short version. There was some math in there if you got a PPP or you didn't get a PPP, and there were a few other things along those lines. The real issue is how much of a percentage they're going to require you to be down to be able to collect on that, and that's still evolving. So, but the fact that this is actually being discussed on Capitol Hill, that people are talking about it and looking to do something is encouraging, because there's a lot of people still hurting. There's a lot of people still hurting out there, and we certainly want to help with that. The government should do its part there to keep people, to keep businesses that were around still around. So I applaud the effort, and I'm encouraging it. It would be a very good thing, Julie. It would be a very good thing. It's Congress, though, so it's hard to get Congress out of their own way to get things done. So I'm not betting on it yet. And I can tell you that if it does pass, it will be oversubscribed. It won't be enough money to get around to everybody. The nice thing is, for our industry, for the resale industry, which is the core of people that tune into me, the resale, I have lots of different industries that tune into me, but the resale industry is by far the biggest. The advantage to our industry and to people in our industry that are hurting is that the majority of stores here are women owned, and that would be a carve out, or a priority class would be the female owned businesses. So that part, I know if this gets passed, that would be a plus. So I will keep you in the loop on it, but I'm very encouraged this week. I'm very encouraged by this week. So, our quote from Simon today, if your words are simple, people can understand them. If people can understand your words, they can repeat them. And if your words will spread. Boom. It's simple. People can understand them. If people can understand your words, they can repeat them. And if your words can be repeated, your ideas will spread. I love the quote because it's true, and that it is very true. And on a lot of levels, it's on. I take it as an educator in this industry. I take that principle to heart. But what I want you to take that quote from Simon to heart is with your customers. Is what you saying to your customers? Is it simple? Are your processes, are the words you use simple? Can they tell a friend? Do they need to have worked for you to be able to tell a friend? Is your consignment process simple? Is your buying process? Is your payout process? Is everything you do for them simple? And so if you think about that communication style, I mean, part of it when he wrote this is talking about people like me that get up on stage and talk to people all the time, or that teach people how to be better in their business. And his point is right on for that. But it's really right on for anything you are doing in business. It is really right on for anything you're doing in business. And so think about that with your communications with your customers. Can they pass it on? Can they make it simple? Can they just roll with it? And can they pass it on? It's like the old game of telephone, or like you sit in a circle in a classroom and the first person says something to the second person, but by the time it gets around the circle, is it still the same thing? If it's simple, it will. If it's simple, it will. If it's not, it won't. If it's not, it won't. So give that some thought. That's a great quote from Simon. All right. So tonight we were going to talk more about employees and wages and compensating employees. And one of the things that we ended on the other night, one of the points that we ended on the other night was payroll percentage, and where your payroll is on an annual basis. And we're talking an annual basis now, not yes, your months and your quarters and your individual payrolls, matter. But in general, the longer you retain people, when you're in your slower times of the year, your payroll will be a higher percentage of sales. And that's just the reality. And I use the example of my own stores, where in the first quarter, which is a slower quarter for us, it does make up a higher percentage of sales. Okay, that's just a reality, and that's our cost of retaining top talent like that. Okay, so that I mentioned, but the percentage I mentioned is true. So your payroll percentage, your payroll to sales, to gross sales is sales without sales tax. Okay, because sales tax isn't your money. So gross sales without sales tax. Okay, and your percentage of that on payroll should be 18, in the range of 18 to 25%, including yourself if you work in this. So if you work in the business, you should be in the 18 to 25% range, and including yourself if you work in the business. And we talked about that. We talked about paying you a number of different ways the other night. So if you did not catch the other night's broadcast, go back and rewatch that, because there was a lot of really great information, and I don't want to bog down with that tonight. We will in review, but I don't want to bog us down with that tonight. But there's a lot of good information and about paying yourself, because it's very important that you pay yourself if you work in the business. You didn't sign up to do this for nothing. You didn't sign up to do this for nothing. So make sure you're getting paid. And so that's 18 to 25% of sales. So that's, 18,000 to 25,000 for every 100,000 in sales. So if you did $1 million, if you did 100,000 in sales, that would be up to $25,000 in payroll. If you did $1 million in sales, that'd be up to $250,000 in payroll. So just keep that in mind. Keep that in mind, because the percentages matter. And when percentages are out of whack, it's kind of like what they talk about with mortgages and how much you can afford to pay for a mortgage or a car payment and other things. Those rules are there because when you stick to those rules, good things happen. When you go against the rules and say, well, my situation is different. Neil doesn't understand what it's like in East Babalu, Arizona, okay, and doesn't understand the costs, but I can pay 40% payroll and I'll still be okay. The numbers work. The numbers work. There's a lot of reasons why these rules work. It doesn't mean you can't be 26%. That doesn't mean you can't be 17%. But there's a lot of good reasons why that holds true. So understand that. So as we talk about employees, okay, we first got to talk about the minimum wage, because a lot of you are freaked out by rising minimum wage. And, the reality is, even if it's not in your state, we're headed towards a national $15 minimum wage. That's a reality. The further reality is you're really looking not that far down the road where $21 will be the minimum wage. And I know that's scary. I know that's scary. That is scary on a number of fronts. But you shouldn't be scared by the number in and of itself. You shouldn't be scared by the number in and of itself. First and foremost, you don't want to be paying minimum wage. First and foremost, no matter what your state minimum wage is, no matter what the federal is in your minimum wage is, you do not want to pay minimum wage. And why do you not want to pay minimum wage? Well, you don't want minimum employees. Do you want minimum employees? Who wants minimum employees? Anybody? Anybody out there want minimum employees? No, nobody wants minimum employees. Minimum wage is very psychological. And I don't care where you are on the income spectrum. If you're just hiring a high school kid or you're hiring somebody who's 50 years old, it really doesn't matter. It doesn't matter where you are on the socioeconomic ladder, whether this is their fun job or they're supporting a family. Okay, you don't want, minimum wage is very psychological. So even if minimum wage is $15 an hour in your area, you don't have to do a lot more, okay, to break that psychological barrier. A quarter breaks that psychological barrier. I know it doesn't sound like much, but it breaks the psychological barrier that they are not making minimum wage. And psychologically, regardless of what your wage is, that breaks a barrier. It just flat out breaks a barrier. And so I encourage you, no matter what your wage is, to not be paying minimum for your area. And we've always tried to be above it. We've tried to be, historically, we were always shooting for 10% above. We are less than that right now with nearly $15 minimum wage in Massachusetts. I think we are 50 cents above minimum wage is what we would start a new clerk or cashier at. But the reality is you do not want minimum, because you don't want minimum employees, and you want to break that cycle. Even if they ask for minimum wage, break that cycle. Exactly, Kelly. Raise it plus to the new rate plus a quarter. Absolutely. That, because it breaks that psychological barrier. And we've covered all the reasons why you're better to work for. Okay, we've already covered all that in previous episodes. And that's so important. But the wage thing, it is psychological, so beat it. Employees, so often in business, you look at employees as an expense. Okay, when you're sitting there with your calculator, you get your pin calculator. Everybody's got a pin calculator, right? You get out your calculator and you start. Well, I'm going to pay them $14 an hour. Oh my God, that's expensive, and it's an expense. I want you to flip that around. Just like we're taking the psychological of wages out of the picture by not making the minimum, I want you to think about your employees and what they are earning you. not what they are costing you. What? What? Think about that for a second. Okay? For you to have $25,000 in payroll, you need to have $100,000 in sales. That means your employees are earning you $4 an hour. $4 for every dollar you're spending on them, excuse me. So I want you to look at the payback for your employees. What can this employee be doing to be income earning? Okay? Or capacity building. Okay? What can this employee be doing that for your business that is income producing or capacity building? And that capacity building could be building your capacity. Okay? What can you be doing that's if you're paying somebody $14 an hour or $15 an hour, what can you be doing that's $30 an hour work? Okay? And generating money. So look at your employees as a revenue generator. So $1 spent on them comes back as a $2 bill or a $3 bill or a $5 bill. Okay, that they are not an expense. It's not about them as an expense. It is about how they generate income for your business. Okay, again, we're not looking at that. How can they make you more efficient? How can they make you more efficient for what they're doing? And where would technology be better used to make your business more efficient? Where would be spending $500 on a piece of software or a different camera or a different tool make you more efficient? Where would spending $1,000? And I know that sounds like a lot at one shot, okay? Because I have conversations with every software vendor out there, okay, and every provider. But where could it make you more efficient that you wouldn't need to have the person doing it? And I'm going to give you an extreme example outside our industry for a second, but just to make a point. For Panera, they're keeping their coffee hot with robots now. They are investing in robots right now to monitor their coffee stations and refill their coffee stations. They are using robots to stay on top of that, okay, in automation. Where in your business can you find efficiencies, okay, so you can take out a step, okay, that doesn't make sense. That was fine when you were paying $8 an hour, but doesn't make sense when you're paying $15. So you have to look at every aspect of your business for efficiencies, because throughout your business, there are efficiencies that you can have, okay, you can create and you can have. And you have to constantly be looking for those and new ways of doing things. How can you invest in them and help them sell better? Okay. And I'm not talking about, we all talk so often your sales staff is really clerks. Okay. They're order takers. So how do you convert your order takers? What training can you provide them to move from being an order taker to selling, okay? And what suggestive selling? Now, that's not to make them used car salesmen, okay? That's not to make them used car salesmen, but it is to make them earn their paycheck. It is to make them take that dollar you're spending that on them and have them return it as a $5 bill, okay? If you can get your payroll to 20%, that means they're generating 5 times what you're spending on payroll, okay? That's a pretty good return. That is a pretty good. Would you like fries with that? How about an apple pie? Exactly. And it doesn't have to be hokey. It doesn't have to be memorized. In our businesses, it does not have to be memorized like, would you like fries with that? Would you like to supersize it? Adding on items sincerely, adding a pair of earrings, adding a belt, adding a purse that matches that outfit perfectly. And that comes from your team members knowing their inventory and being comfortable in it. Most people do not like to make an outfit, but if you make it for them, they will buy it. If you make it for them, they will buy it. I'm the guy. I will buy it. You make it for me. Nordstrom lays it all out. Men's Warehouse lays it all out, okay? They have it all set for me. Boom, boom, boom. Neil, this goes with this, this, and this. It fits you. It matches. It goes. Boom. Sold. How do I pay? Don't tell me how much I just spent. And that won't be a win. This isn't about hopey-dopey. We have to add an item to every sale because that's unrealistic, okay? I'm not here to tell you hopey-dopey stuff, okay? I'm not here to tell you add an item to every sale. But if you add an item to every 10 sales, that's something, okay? You know, adding a lamp to sit on that end table, adding a pillow to sit on that couch, adding a necklace to go with that dress. It matters. It matters. And people want that level of service. Your team members have that ability, okay? It's not hokey, okay? You know, we poke at the, would you like fries with that? But that sells a lot of fries. How about a warm apple pie? You know how many apple pies McDonald's sells? I mean, it is real. Another way to do that is to bonus for the stretch, okay? As you look at ways to reward employees, bonus for the stretch. And that's bonus for the stretch sale, okay? That can be, you know, if your average sale in your store is $25, the stretch would be $30, okay? Or $35. So bonusing people for that is huge. I mean, I did an analysis on a store recently, and between their best salespeople and the rest of the group, okay, if their best salesperson in the store waited on everybody, I mean, it was a $500,000 difference in sales. Make everybody your best salesperson, but if you can close the gap and you bonus on the gap, you bonus on the stretch, okay? If everybody in your store, your average sale is $25, if you can get it to 30, okay? If you can grow that to 30 by bonusing for the stretch or bonusing for hitting your goals. Hey, Jennifer, great to have you here from Florida, the city of Naples. So that matters. So looking at that and finding ways to incentivize people not to be sleazy used car salesmen. I'm not suggesting that. I don't want that, but incentivize them for the stretch. Incentivize them from going that little bit extra, reaching that little bit further. Going that little bit extra makes a difference and will make a huge difference in your bottom line. It doesn't have to be much. Kath is here tonight. Great to have you here from Naperville, Kath. So that's another way to incentivize without raising their pay. You're paying for performance then. You know, you're giving them their base, incentivizing them for the stretch is a great way to grow your sales and to grow them and to let them grow their income. Okay. We're gonna dive into that a little bit more, Kitty. I'm gonna because I have a couple different stretch programs. I have a couple different stretch programs that we should talk about. One rewards the whole store, one rewards the individual, and both of them have merits. You really have to look at it. You really have to look at it in your store, in your environment, which one would be more effective, the more team approach or the more individual approach. And both are effective depending on the environment. Both are effective, but we should dive deeper into that, and I will put that on Sunday's list if you guys are up for it on Easter Sunday. Okay, if you guys are not up for it on Easter Sunday, we'll save it for a week. I'm writing it down right now. But we'll talk about the stretch goal. We'll talk about 5 stars type program and team programs versus that. And I am fine to talk about it. On Sunday, I gotta say I am on the road. After Sunday, I'm on the road through the end of the month. So I'm on the road for the rest of the month after Sunday night. So my schedule will be more off. So if we can talk about it Sunday, that would be great. Because when I'm on the road, my schedule becomes that. Is that a thing? Is that a thing? Is that a thing? So I would love to get that in while we're talking about it, and work in a whole. I can go a whole show on that. So if you guys are good for that on Easter Sunday, Passover Sunday, this is like religious worlds colliding. This is like religious worlds colliding. This weekend where if we can bring it's one of those rare times where Easter and Passover actually happen at the exact same time, which is really kind of cool. And so we are if only the world could collide that way in a little more peaceful way, I would really love it. I am not traveling to Illinois on these trips. Is not Illinois. These trips are not Illinois, but I will get to Illinois probably this summer. At the rate my schedule is going, people that want to see me in Illinois, and I'd love to come to Illinois. You guys have you are my most tuned in state, regularly tuned in state. How's that? Illinois is my most regularly tuned in state. Is that a thing? I have lots of nationwide support, but I truly feel the love from Illinois, and I appreciate that. So I appreciate y'all in Illinois. Thank you so much. And just a couple other things to throw in there, because I know some people are concerned about gas prices and different things. And part of what we offer is scheduling flexibility, both for you and the employee. It's a two-way street there, but you do that. So one of the things to offer is to certain people that are concerned, that are driving a little further. Really, gas prices is just a mental construct, because overall people are still driving less than they did a couple of years ago. But one thing to keep in mind to be able to offer people is longer shifts and less days. It is a scheduling flexibility option to do that. But you do need to schedule for the business. Scheduling is for the business. So is the thermostat, by the way. Thermostat for the business, for your customers. The thermostat, well, and really scheduling is for your customers. You're scheduling for the convenience of your customers, not always the convenience of your employees. Lastly, the other thing that comes in part and parcel with all of this is you. Yes, you. I'm pointing to you. Yeah, I see you there in the back. You have to be a better leader to create a life, store, and team of excellence. If you want a life, a store, and a team of excellence, you have to be a leader. You have to pull up and show up. And be that better leader for your business. You can do it. I have faith in you. But we will talk about the stretch. We will talk about, on Sunday, we will talk about, well, let me talk about this as a compensation tool. I'll talk about it more on Sunday, but I wanted to talk about this. One of the things that employees want to see you do beyond compensation is invest in them. We all know you do the same things every day. Okay, we take clothes, we sell clothes. You take furniture, you sell furniture. You take dead people's stuff and you sell it. Okay, that's what we do. That is our industry. That is resale. Okay, we take stuff. We take stuff that other people cared for a period of time, and we help facilitate it getting to somebody else that can care for it. Okay, that is what we do. But your team wants to know you are investing in them, that you are investing in the business, that you are investing in your store, that you are investing in them. And there's lots of ways to show it. Okay, providing them continuing education is one way. Are you bringing a team member or having a lottery to bring a team member to conference? And I know for some of you that's a stretch. That's a stretch. But are you bringing a team member to conference? I mean, we're 50-something days away to conference, okay? But continuing education and investing in your team, investing in your people, and however you do that, is a way of excellence. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about that on Sunday. But that is a big thing. People are leaving big companies, small companies, because they don't feel like they're getting investment. We've taken people to conference. We've put people through education programs. I have some programs that we're doing for people now to lift them up and get their input on things that we're doing. Even just a community college class on something they're interested in is important. We take people on field trips to the antique market and things, and those things matter. Those investments in people matter. So know that your investment in your team matters. And continuing to invest in them matters. But we'll talk more about that. We'll talk about the stretch on Sunday. That'll be a good thing. The Easter Bunny likes to stretch, right? We got to stretch. Well, you can't really stretch the matzah. You can't stretch the matzah. The matzah will break. But, I have our ceremonial box of matzah downstairs, so we will have that on Sunday. We've got the Easter Bunny. We've got the stretch. We're going to stretch. Kelly, that should be will that count as yoga if we stretch on Sunday? Maybe you should lead a yoga class too as part of your presentation at NARTS, Kelly. I don't know. Maybe we can have you lead a yoga class. I don't know. But what I do know is this video and everything I talk about, goes over to narts.org/resale strong by noon the next day. Noon, I tell you. All the files, all the links, including a direct link to the YouTube channel. You're not alone running this store, where you can like, comment, subscribe, and oh yes, you can ring that bell. Ring that bell. So you know when another one drops. You can also share it with all your friends in business, the butcher, the baker, the candlestick maker. I talk to all of them. We're here to help everybody. Yes, we are, because the same principles apply. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. Matzah toffee from the bakery. What? Who knew? Ladies and gentlemen, I'm here every Wednesday and Sunday at More 8 Than Ish live in the NARTS private Facebook group and streaming on YouTube. But if you have a question in between, just email me, Neil, Neil at ECIstores.com, Neil at ECIstores.com. We start this program every night with the Stay Positive book. Stay positive, people. Yes, we do. Tonight we're on page 58. Mental toughness is knowing that your identity is not defined by your performance or outcome. You are loved no matter what. No matter what happens today, remember, you might not be able to control your circumstances, but you can control how you respond to them. Take a breath, people. That's what I'm saying. Pause. Look for the good. Trust in the bigger plan. Respond instead of react. Respond instead of react. I love it. Ladies and gentlemen, I am Neil Abramson. I do like a good party. Yes, I do. A wedding, a bar mitzvah even. We will party again. We will party in person. And when we do, I'm going to be there with you. But until then, and until Sunday, Easter Sunday, Passover Sunday, at More 8 Than Ish, know that you, and especially you, yes, you, I see you there. Yes, I do. You're not alone running this store. Have a great night, everybody. It's time for dessert.